enemy. Brethren, kindly remember that once you see or you have read the caption of the broadcast, you should endeavor to read the description of the broadcast as well, all right? Then like the broadcast, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun is live. Yeah, you can just click on share. And then you want to share it on WhatsApp, you want to share it on Facebook, you want to share it in any group at all. They just put a caption, your own rider, and say, Mayegun is live. And if you have done that already, right? Thank you. So you can sit back, kind of relax, and let's have this, these goodies, these gists. If the time permits us, we shall also, take calls for people's reactions. Okay. So tonight, I have for us the update from the stable of Tifnumbu, Kolu, and his 49 thieves. These are the ministries, by the way, created by Tifnumbu and his gang. Nigeria has been bleeding, and it didn't start today. Fair enough, it didn't start under Tifnumbu, but the level of bleeding that Nigeria has suffered, economic hemorrhage that Nigeria has suffered in the last 21 months is legendary. You get that? Like, is unprecedented. But when Nigeria started losing its, its economic value from 2015, right, up till 2023, a lot of people kind of secretly believe that it can't get any worse until Tifnumbu told them to hold his beer, and it will show you how to destroy a country effortlessly. So investors have been avoiding Nigeria. Well, rightly so. The ones that are inside are finding ways to liquidate their businesses and cut down their losses and leave. And because of this, Nigeria is considered that, not just the poverty capital of the world. Nigeria is also considered as the country with the highest number of unemployed people on earth. Do you know that? Well, Nigeria is populated by millions of unemployed and unemployable people. That the Tifnumbu illegitimate regime, the first thing they did when they came on is to redefine what employment means. And therefore, to them, Nigeria has no unemployment problem. In fact, Nigeria has so much employment that people are just kind of like naturally poor. And it's not because of the failure of the APC. So, and I've said this as well before. I said that you can use propaganda to kind of like gain power. That happens, but you would have to put in a lot of work, all right, before you can really, run a country. So you can't run a country with the propaganda. It's just unfortunate that Nigeria is not a real place. If not, people should have stoned these criminals by now, chase them out of town, and possibly get your, reclaim your country back if you did have one anyway. But you never had any country. Let's put it that way. But here is the contraption that we are all unfortunately, right, stuck in. And then the guy men and guy women in charge of the contraption continue to cook different kind of propaganda to sustain. You have to kind of like make up more lies to cover up some lies. So you have to keep making more lies. So Nigeria has been started with the unfortunate unfortunate man called Ebola Tifnumbu, unfortunate man. And that has made the, like I said, didn't start from him. Okay, started from the Bukwari's time. So these unfortunate beings, right? They have brought their unfortunateness on the rest of you, unfortunately. So there is no real investment to Nigeria except the ones these rogues claim in their own warped, propagandized their minds, which simply means that they have to resort to borrowing. And you listen, there's something about borrowing, right? Normally, when you borrow for good reasons, yeah, you may have to kind of like live some austere lives to utilize the loan. And if you borrow for improving infrastructures like power, which in itself can help spur up, production, and then job employment, and then viable economy, whereby you turn your debt, right, into a working asset, so to say. But that's not the case with the contraption called Nigeria, especially under these rogues. So historically, 9 years ago or 10 years ago now, Nigeria's debt was put at 13 trillion naira. Then Bokwari came, borrowed, printed money, all for nothing to actually really anything like substantial to show for it, nothing really. So they said officially the debt of Nigeria when Bokwari was living, local and international, was somewhere around the 115 trillion naira. So that simply means Bokwari alone added 102 trillion naira to your debt, impoverished tens of millions of people. Now, this was for 8 years. Now, between 2023, May to December 2024, that's practically just 19 months. No, hang on. No, it should be more than that. 12 plus 7. Yeah, 19 months. Maybe we should round it up and say 20 months. Nigeria's debt grew from that 110 or 115 trillion to over 210 trillion today. And that gives us a bit of an idea that by the time Tinubu is done, Nigeria's debt may be somewhere in the range of maybe 900 trillion. Because I don't know what it's going to be like after 900 trillion. What are you going to get? Because after billion, you have trillion. After trillion, what is next? Gazillion, a bidrillion, I don't know yet. But you better begin to research that. But the excuse of the Tinubu's gang, listen to this, is that it is not that Tinubu has borrowed too much money. The real problem is that Nigerian Naira has been devalued. Because Nigerian Naira has been so devalued, every time you want to evaluate the debt of Nigeria based on the current exchange rates, that is where you are going to always get this. And if we have to actually use that too simply means that Nigeria debt will be in the range of maybe 300 trillion naira. But they are currently using the conservative figure of 197 trillion. My own conservative figure is 210 trillion, and I'm being generous here. So when Tinubu came in, officially their naira to dollar was 610 naira to $1. Then fast forward to January 20, or even this February, January 2025, Nigerian naira to $1 is now in the range of 1,700 naira today. So that simply means if Nigeria had, I'm trying to kind of like work it here, okay? If Nigeria had $100 billion debt, for example, 100 billion. So that should kind of be somewhere around 600 naira. So that should be somewhere around 70 trillion naira, just roughly plus or minus, which is kind of like, right? Now, if Nigeria's debt is somewhere around 150 billion, and you have to multiply that by 1,700 naira, so you would get over 200 billion naira. So again, debt would have been so good if the money is used judiciously if you turn your debt to an asset, right, that you can say in another 5 years, when you have, for example, 50,000 megawatt of electricity, and 80% of 80% of the country is electrified, including industrial areas, and businesses have access to cheap electricity, which is, in other words, kind of like will multiply, profit and the rest of that, including taxes as well. That's not what these guys are doing. They are borrowing money, right? In their own words, so to defend the Naira. So just 2 days ago, they had a meeting, and they call it the Federal Executive Meeting, where different proposals in trillions of Naira were made and approved, including endless road rehabilitation, okay, construction, which at the end of the day, if you go back to 2024, you will realize that this same set of rules were kind of like approved, and trillions of Naira were also allocated. And it's like a yearly ritual for them. You understand? So they had a meeting 2 days ago, and according to Wale Idun, the following where they have approved that they should go and borrow more money. Now they said they want to use this $1 billion. $1 billion is more or less like 1.7 trillion Naira, I think. Now, there is no specificity in this. They just said the money will be used for healthcare. Then they had another 30 million euro that they want to borrow from a French bank. They have another 700 to 800 billion Naira that they are saying they should go and raise from the bond market. And it's going to be used for housing. 800 billion Naira for housing. So let's start from this, okay? Wale Idun.
As the Honourable Minister for Information and National Orientation has said, I did present a couple of memos to the Federal Executive Council, and even though we do have another Federal Executive Council meeting coming up tomorrow, in interest of timely and full disclosure of the activities of government and timely release of information thereon, I will just mention that today I did present, and we have the Honourable Minister for Health and Coordinating Minister of Social Welfare, who it really concerns, except that it was World Bank financing, IDA, International Development Association financing, which is the concessional arm of the World Bank. They give out grants, and they give out virtually next to zero interest money, 1% funding for a long period, 40 years. And under the Human Capital Opportunities for Prosperity and Equity programs of the World Bank, of the IDA, 2 projects were approved for financing. The total amount, and one is for governance, to improve the governance around healthcare, primary healthcare in particular, and the other one refers to improving the governance around delivery of improving the quality of service, including improving utilization of essential services, also in the health system. And as I said, the Honourable Minister for Health is here, and so he can elaborate further. I will limit myself to saying that the total financing of those 2 projects under the HOPE agenda, that is not the renewed hope, this time it is the HOPE agenda, the Human capital opportunities for prosperity and equity program. So apart from two loans of concessional loans of $500 million each, there's also $70 million in grant financing from other international bodies. So it's a total of $1 billion, I think $70 million in grant funding for the health sector. In addition, the customs, which I have the honor of chairing the board, the customs came with some 20 billion Naira worth of important projects and procurements, CNG vehicles, and some construction of and furnishing of facilities, particularly their forward bases in the remote areas, and also about 1 billion Naira worth of financing for life insurance. So it's the group life insurance policy, of course, which is implemented by underwriters and brokers. So we had 2 transactions for customs and then 2 transactions in the health center. That's what I have to report for today. Thank you.
That one is coming up tomorrow. It is actually not just a continuation of today's one, it's another Federal Executive Council meeting for tomorrow. Recall that since December, we've not had anyone, so a lot of memos have gathered, and the president is determined to dispense with all of them. So we want to say that tomorrow there will be another press briefing after FEC meeting. Let me at this point invite the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of Economy to go first.
Are you following? So if you want to know how shady and dubious these criminals are, take your time to listen and then study the body language of Wale Edun every time he is rolling out those figures for loans they want to take. We'll be looking for some fancy words to kind of like, you know, to dress this arbitrary borrowing. But they want to take $500 million loan. And according to him, it is, which is a lie. It is a 1% interest. That's a lie. The cheapest loan that this World Bank, IMF, and some of these guys, the cheapest loan they've given to Nigeria is 37% interest. There is nowhere in any of their loans where they are giving them 1% interest rate. Nowhere. But you see these criminal politicians also kind of knowing the kind of country they are running, right? And the people therein who are mostly not interested in details. Say, so they can roll out these lies and you dare not question it. Because if you question it, it will be called incitement. You are inciting the people against the government, questioning their, what do you call it, their unverifiable lies, so to say. So they want to spend $1 billion on healthcare, improving service delivery, improving healthcare, primary healthcare, and the rest of that. So you get. So what they are practically saying is, Tinubu's government, because you see, primary healthcare is for local government areas, secondary healthcare is for the states, tertiary healthcare is for the federal. However, what Wale Edun just said there was that they were borrowing 1.7 trillion naira for primary healthcare service delivery in Nigeria. So that tells you everything you need to know. It simply means once they get the money, it's just some peanut for the boys to share. Right? Then they said, oh, they are also going to collect a 70 million grant. I don't know if that is coming from the World Bank. World Health Organization. Ooh, I don't know. You know? Or they know the people they are leading. Here you get that people are not interested. They are too poor to think. They are too distracted, preoccupied with what they are going to eat next. Where is the next meal coming from? To be interested in what a minister